One thing every industrial revolution has in common, it's making current operations cheaper, and Edge is no different. Joining me today is Jason Hoffman, CEO of Deutsche Telecom wholly owned subsidiary MobileEdgeX. Jason, thanks a lot for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How does a range of the edge data centers, when they're establishing the market out there, how do they make cheaper when it comes to backhauling data into a centralized cloud?
Well, it depends a bit of where edge is. So for us, a lot of our concepts of edge is the infrastructure that sits in between mobile devices and clouds and other enterprise data centers. So the infrastructure that sits between basically the internet and devices. So on the back half of that is backhaul. And on the first part of it is backhaul. And so for us, it's as simple as any type of workload that we can run inside of the infrastructure that is backhaul itself will save from backhaul naturally.
Okay, and what sort of technology are we talking about? Because MobileEdgeX has a lot of different verticals out there. They talk about NFVs and SFDs.
Yeah.
What are you working on and what technology is needed to make this all happen?
Well, I mean, we take advantage of a lot of the existing cloud transformations that have been occurring within our operators anyways. So they may be called transport transformations, NFVI transformations, access transformations, the modernization of RAN, a digital transformation, a customer experience transformation. If you look at each and every one of those involves the building of API accessible clouds that typically are Kubernetes based, increasingly so today, with OpenStack or Kubernetes, it's OpenStack or VMware or something sort of underneath.
So do you work directly with containers as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So you're bringing open source into the edge?
Yeah, because most of pretty much any network that's built today or any type of transformation that's occurring within a mobile network involves the building of a cloud. And so a lot of it is around taking all of those existing footprints and actually having a common developer consumption experience around them.
Okay, so in terms of deploying the edge, do you need some sort of different sort of edges? So one for the enterprise, one for consumers. Essentially, the question will be who's the edge for?
Yeah, no, that's clear. From the perspective of at least the mobile network side of things, there's always been a consumer-based mobile network, which means a lot of people share a common IP packet core. And common base stations and towers and everything else. There have also always been private LTE, private packet core type deployments. The two have gone together. They may exist on the same underlying infrastructure and the same facilities, but there's always been offerings around private LTE, private 5G, now private cores, campus solutions, these types of things like that. The underlying technologies are the same. I think the difference between the two really is around the rate of adoption. So a lot of the things that are going on this year and next year are very consumer-focused use cases, largely around retail, mobile gaming, how we sort of do the next generation of content that's largely augmented reality and mixed reality based. A lot of the attractiveness right now for that is from the consumer space. On the enterprise and industrial side, it's about supporting much longer product development cycles with edge-based solutions, because those things are 3 years, 5 years, 7 years away from production in many cases.
But it's quite interesting what you say about the 3, 4, 5, 7 years that we're going to be reaching that sort of stage on the enterprise side. What sort of examples or use cases would you envision?
Well, part of it is what product development life cycles are anyways. So if you look at things like the sort of retail space, so like consumer physical retail. So how do we go and take every surface inside of a store and turn it into a mixed reality display? How do we connect that to a mobile device? How do we start delivering new experiences around that? These are things that can have 3 month, 6 month, 9 month type development cycles. You can put it out in market, you can get immediate sort of validation of whether it's going to take off or not. Very sort of similar things when it comes to next generation of mobile gaming, which is largely sort of multiplayer, augmented reality based, player versus player, larger scale local events, everybody in a stadium playing something together, type sort of events. Those are types of things that it's going to make or break in a relatively short period of time. And you're talking about cycles that are 90, 180, 270 day type product development cycles. When you're then talking about supporting, for example, the long-term roadmap for a car maker, going from next generation heads-up displays to new types of media, existing sort of extensions on connected car type concepts, but then how do you begin to start supporting all the way up into autonomous fleet management and the like. Those are things where automobiles that likely need production edge capabilities are 5 years, 6 years, 7 years away from basically doing that. But you still actually have to have products that support people during the development process of that as well.
Okay, so there's an exciting period coming along. And then in terms of MobileEdgeX, of course you're owned by Deutsche Telecom.
Yep.
Telefonica has also mentioned your name several times in some presentations.
Yeah.
You're obviously involved with the containers and the open source community, Kubernetes. What are you planning? So what's the future for MobileEdgeX?
Okay. Well, for us, I mean, we were founded by Deutsche Telecom, or owned by Deutsche Telecom, but the founding principles of the company was very much about Deutsche Telecom helping the broader operator community step up and engage in a new value chain.
Okay.
Right.
So almost like the Kubernetes community for telecoms for edge.
Not really, because a lot of that is much more of the supply side of things. So most of the edge conversation out in the space is about infrastructure, in Kubernetes is infrastructure system software. So it's very this like supply side type conversation. Where's edge going to be? What are the data centers going to be? And so on like that. We were formed as a company to deal with the demand side of edge. So to really sort of get down exactly to the issues of who is it for, when really are they going to need it, where, why now, why us, how do we sort of step up as an operator community and start supporting, these new types of use cases and developers that are working on that. I mean, we were formed to really deal with the demand side of it.
Okay, and then we are in Monaco for the Cloud 2019.
Yep.
In 12 months we'll be here again for the 2020 edition. We've also got the EdgeCon for the first time in Europe, in Monaco, because we had the Barcelona one. What do you expect from the conference, or how do you see this conference, and what do you expect to happen in the market over the next 12 months?
Okay, well, I think for this conference, I think it's, the funny part is a year and a half ago, nobody was really using the edge term. Right, and now everybody's using the edge term, and everybody's describing some parts of it in similar ways, and
everyone has their own definition.
So the idea that edge is a thing and that people probably have to figure out and have a plan for, that's different from say a year and a half ago. If we think about a year from now, I think a year from now what we'll see is we'll start seeing some more concrete examples, at the very least, of consumer-facing things that are only made possible by the presence of edge.
Okay, Jason, thanks a lot for talking to me. Don't forget you can follow Data Economy on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and also visit the website on www.data-economy.com.